Hello Earth, I am Attila. Today I will talk about the Factfulness book, and this was a book about how our world is becoming a better place, and not necessarily how, but why we think that the world is becoming worse and worse, and it does not necessarily blame the media, but it rather explores 10 core instincts that lie behind our deep inside our behavior and why they make us think that the world is becoming a worse place. So it started off by saying that we systematically get important statistics wrong. He did a lot of surveys about whether our world is becoming a better place, and humans actually scored worse than chimpanzees, because while chimpanzees just filled it randomly, we scored worse than random, because we think that the world is becoming a worse place rather than becoming a better place. And we have a massive ignorance about how our world is changing, and we have an over dramatic worldview. We think that the world is horrible, and it talked about these dramatic instincts that lie inside the core of our behavior. The first instinct is the gap instinct, and the massive misconception here is that the world is divided in two. It's easy to create the narrative in the journal, in the newspapers, that them versus us, the developed versus the developing world, but these categories are not really correct. Low-income countries are much more developed than most people think, and vastly fewer people live in them. Most people actually live in middle-income countries. Middle and high-income countries combined makes 90% of humanity, 91% of humanity. So instead of using this developing and developed world countries categorization, he recommends a categorization based on 4 income levels. And the first level is if you earn less than $2 per day. In the level 2 there is if you earn between $2 and $8. The level 3 if you earn less than $32 and more than $8, and level 4 is if you earn more than $32 per day. And each figure in this image is 1 billion people. So on level 1 there is 1 billion people, on level 2 there is 3 billion, on level 3 there is 2 billion, and on level 4 there is 1 billion people. And then why do we think that the world is in two developing versus developed countries? And that's because we have an urge toward binary thinking. The gap instinct make us imagine division where there is just a smooth range. So we think that between developed and developing countries there is a huge difference, but in fact there isn't. And he said that we shouldn't rely on averages. Of course, averages are great, but they hide the spread of the numbers in one single number. And you should also beware comparisons of extreme. In all countries there is someone at the top and someone at the bottom, and usually the differences are extreme. But even when the differences are extreme, the majority is usually somewhere in between. And it's difficult for us to judge other countries because we have a view from above. Most likely, if you are watching this video or if you read this book, you are in the 4th income level, and so most of your first-hand experiences are from level 4, and that your second-hand experiences are filtered through the mass media, which loves non-representative extraordinary events and shuns normality. The second instinct is the negativity instinct, and the misconception is that the world is getting worse. And we have a tendency to notice the bad more than the good. And the majority of people think that the world is getting worse. But the journalists try to maintain this situation, this misconception, but it's very difficult to maintain when we put the present in its historical context. Today, there is no countries with a life expectancy below 50 years. Every country has improved by almost every measure. That's quite great. And when we think about the past, we tend to romanticize it. And we tend to ignore the negative experiences, or we just don't remember to them. So people often glorify their early experiences, and nations often glorify their histories. And thanks to increasing press freedom and improving technology, we hear more about more disasters than ever before. And more news does not equal more suffering. More bad news is sometimes due to better surveillance of suffering, not a worsening world. So if in the medieval times, Europeans killed a million Native Americans, unfortunately, then that news didn't make it back to Europe or to Asia or to Africa, because the communication streams weren't very good. And we just hear the news that tell us that the world is ending, and the good news is not news. Good news is almost never reported. So news is almost always bad. So you should expect really bad news. And when you see bad news, you should ask whether equally positive news would have reached you. And gradually improvement is not news either. Gradual improvement is not news either. When a trend is gradually improving with periodic dips, you are more likely to notice the dips than the overall improvement. And you should think in terms of better and bad. Practice distinguishing between a level, for example bad, and the direction of change, for example better. Convince yourself that things can be both better and bad. So for example, take a very bad situation, it's the worst situation ever, but that situation is improving, it's becoming better, but it's still bad. So it is becoming better, but it's still bad. And the third instinct is our straight line instinct. And the misconception here is that the world population is just increasing and increasing. And we tend to think in terms of straight lines. So we see a chart of humans living in the planet, and it's like an exponential curve. And we tend to continue that curve onward. But in fact, the population growth rate is slowing down. The curve will flatten out at somewhere between 10 and 12 billion people by the end of the century, according to experts. And the number of children won't increase, so it will stay the same. The number of adults will increase, because with life quality improvements, the number of babies born decreases. We are in constant balance with the nature. If the mother expects that her children would die because of some diseases, then she is likely to bear a lot of babies. so few of them have the chance to live the adulthood. But if there is an improvement in life quality and in health, then after a while the mothers won't bear that much children, because they are confident that they will reach adulthood. And in Europe, we actually don't have enough children, so it's quite a bad thing. And so we should do everything we can to reduce child mortality. And the straight lines are much less common than we think. So let's take an example, the child or a baby in its first 6 months is growing very rapidly. But no parent would expect it to keep up this growth rate forever, because that would be quite ridiculous. And the fourth instinct is the fear instinct. And we get a lot of information in our world, and we can't process every one of them. And the kind of information we seem more likely to process is information that sounds dramatic. And it's quite easy for the media to grab our attention with fear. But the world is a great place. Natural disasters kill far fewer people. In 2016, total of 40 million commercial passenger flights landed safely at their destinations. Only 10 ended in fatal accidents, but the media can't just report that. It would be quite funny. Just imagine a flight this and this from Sydney arrived in Singapore Changi airport without any problems. And that was today's news. And they would be able to say this every day 1,000 times. So how to improve? You should recognize when frightening things get our attention. The world seems scarier than it is, because what you hear about it has been selected by your own attention filter or by the media, precisely because it's scary. And the risk equals danger times exposure. So because there was some bushfire in Australia, of course I'm terribly sorry for them, but it's not a big risk for me and I don't have to worry about that. And get calm before you carry on. When you are afraid, you see the world differently. Make as few decisions as possible until the panic has gone. The fifth is the size instinct. We tend to get things out of proportion. Getting things out of proportion or misjudging the size of things is something that we humans do naturally, but you should get things in proportion. And a few techniques to help you do that. Compare. Big numbers always look big. Single numbers on their own are misleading and should make you suspicious. Always look for comparisons. Ideally, divide by something. So amounts and rates can tell very different stories. Rates are more meaningful, especially when comparing between different sized groups. In particular, look for rates per person when comparing between countries or regions. The next is that 80% of effects come from 20% of the causes. So, for example, if you have been given a list, you should look for the few largest items and deal with those first, because they are quite likely more important than all the rest put together. And the sixth instinct is the generalizational instinct, because everyone automatically categorizes and generalizes all the time. So if you want to improve on that, you should travel so you get other perspectives, and the categories can be misleading. Beware of the majority. The majority just means more than half. Ask whether it means 51%, 99%, or something in between. Beware of vivid examples. Vivid images are easier to recall, but they might be the exception rather than the rule. And assume that people are not idiots. When something looks strange, and think, what way is this a smart solution? The seventh instinct is the destiny instinct. And it says that innate characteristics determine the destinies of people, countries, religions, or cultures. And recognizing that many things appear to be constant just because the change is happening slowly. It said that the ideal image, or the image of an ideal husband is very similar across cultures. So you should keep track of gradual improvements. A small change every year can translate to a huge change over decades. And you should also update your knowledge. Technology, countries, societies, cultures, and religions are constantly changing. And collect examples of cultural change. Challenge the idea that today's culture must also have been yesterday's and will also be tomorrow's. So cultures are not a constant thing, they are constantly changing. And you should talk to grandpa. If you want to be reminded of how values have changed, think about your grandparents' values and how they differ from yours. I think they are quite the same as ours. The fourth instinct is the single perspective instinct, and we find simple ideas very attractive. We enjoy the moment of insight. We enjoy feeling we really understand or know something. But the world cannot be understood without numbers. But the world cannot be understood with numbers alone. One solution cannot solve a problem single-handedly. So a problem can have many explanations. Instead of just looking at the numbers, you should go to the field, talk to people. And a single perspective can limit your imagination. Test your ideas. Don't only collect examples to show that how great your idea is. Have people who disagree with you and test your ideas and find the weaknesses of your ideas. And don't claim expertise beyond your field. Be humble about what you don't know. Be aware too of the limits of the expertise of others. So just because someone is great at their field, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are also great at their own at other fields that they have no expertise of. And if you have analyzed a problem in depth, you can end up exaggerating the importance of that problem or of your solution. And beware of simple ideas and simple solutions. History is full of visionaries who use simple utopian visions to justify terrible actions. Welcome complexity, combine ideas, compromise, solve problems on a case-by-case basis. The ninth instinct is the blame instinct. The instinct to find a clear, simple reason for why something bad has happened. And you shouldn't expect the media to provide you with a fact-based worldview. That's not the job of the media. The job of the media is to make money. And they won't make money by providing you with a fact-based worldview. And we have an instinct to find someone to blame, but we rarely look in the mirror and accept that bad things can happen without anyone intending them to. Instead, spend your energy on understanding the multiple interacting causes or systems that created the situation. And when someone claims that they created something or they have caused something good, ask whether the outcome might have happened anyway, even if that individual had done nothing. Give the system some credit. The 10th and last instinct is the urgency instinct. So we have all heard the salesman or the advertisement on the website that act now or lose the chance forever. And, they are deliberately triggering your urgency instinct. The call to action makes you think less critically, decide more quickly. Relax. It's almost never true. And this can also create unnecessary stress and poor decisions. And if something is urgent and important, it should be measured. Insist on the data. And you should also be aware of fortune tellers. Any prediction about the future is uncertain and they are not very reliable. So it's said that we should teach a fact-based worldview in the school and in business and especially to journalists and politicians. And it says that we will likely adopt a fact-based worldview because it's simply better for two reasons. A fact-based worldview is more useful for navigating life. So if you think that the average families in the US, they don't really have much spending power to, for example, spend on a yoga stuff, then you can miss out on a major opportunity because you think that families can't buy yoga stuff. And the second reason is that the fact-based worldview is more comfortable. You won't worry about headlines in the newspaper all the times. Just chill out. So this was quite an interesting book. I think it's a big problem nowadays that we ignore facts and instead we jump to conclusions based on inaccurate data, or it's quite easy to manipulate with data, and journalists have this is their job and they are quite good at it, in my opinion. So this is quite an interesting topic and a great book. So thanks for coming in. I have a YouTube channel where I read one book every day and I share the things that I learned from that book. I create videos daily, so you should subscribe if you are interested, or follow my podcast. It's available on all the major podcast platforms. I also have a Twitter account. You can reach me there or in the comment section. Thanks for coming in. Bye bye.